there, but the face-off X, we didn't talk about it yet, guys, but this is a huge story in this game because last year the two Syracuse wins, Jacob Fopp, who's still going to take draws against that man right there, number 23, Petey Lasalla. He owned Lasalla.
And it was a total outlier in the two matchups because Lasalla dominated ACC play. Fopp struggled in ACC play, but when these two went head-to-head, pure domination by Fopp.
Face-offs will determine possession, obviously, and momentum in this game. You turn to Petey Lasalla, and Lars Tiffany telling us that he spent a lot of time in the offseason working on his counters.
Right.
This is a young man who's so used to dominating the draw that he had no answers when he lost the draw to Fopp. He's worked on some counter moves.
There's Petey Lasalla, All-American on the right for Virginia, and Jacob Fopp. They have met each other a number of times over the years, and as we mentioned last year, Lasalla just 12 of 46 in the two games against Syracuse. Big battle to start this game. Big ground ball in the middle of the field. Won by Syracuse. And Fopp picked up the ground ball. Now we'll get a chance to see the orange in Gary Gates' offense.
Issue in terms of planting his feet and letting it rip, and that is a gorgeous shot.
Fopp rolls it back. Big ground ball won by Danny Parker.
With an emotional fire.
Now this looks like a different Cavalier team in terms of going for the jugular.
And here's Petey Lasalla, wins it to himself. And retains possession.
The future, too, at least for the immediate future. You have Connor Schellenberger
for
two more seasons after this.
Absolute dynasty they're building here.
You have Bryce Young basically back for another couple years. He's going to operate the offense, going to put playmakers around him. This team is built for the next 3 years. Fills that, dips underneath. That's a great play by him.
Captain Seabold with Syracuse first goal of the day. Another face-off win by Virginia, and great wing play.
Schellenberger, Chris Gray from Carolina, who's fantastic as well. But Schellenberger, to me,
touted, slow start to his college career. He's a primetime player now, Carter.
Yeah, well, he's acclimated to the midfield position. In high school, he played behind the cage and be always playing teams. Richmond and Dan Shamati. Yes.
Step in the ring, and then you get the glory.
Moore is going to spin. Had a
in the fall in their games against Team Canada and Team USA. Welcome to the party,
yes,
Will Corey.
Yeah, he had a huge goal against Team USA in the fall. The belief started then.
8-1 here in the second. Virginia on top of Syracuse. There's Petey Lasalla. We talked about it in the open, Kark, about how the Syracuse wins last year, 2 of them against this Virginia team, were born on the face-off X, and Fopp's dominance on Lasalla. It was the only game that Lasalla really had trouble with, and the only face-off guy he had trouble with. Not so much today. He's won 7 of 10.
He's been a mainstay in the 2 national titles for the Cavaliers. I love his low center of gravity. He was a big-time high school football player. Today, he's shown me mentally how tough he is. When you spend time with him, when you spend time with his dad, you know the type of characters they are, Quinn.
Well, true greatness at the college and pro level come from guys who not only have talent, but they have the ability to make adjustments.
Yes.
And we've seen Petey go back to work this summer in terms of getting stronger, but working on his counter game. That is, when he doesn't win the initial clamp, does he have any answers? We spent some time with his dad, a former New York City police officer. And
tough as nails, great man.
You can see Petey in the dad.
Yes.
And how bought in that he is to being the best in his craft.
Skip past his feet, that's his strength.
And they're going to get Lasalla here on the hold. They are. It'll be Syracuse ball.
And to say, well, I thought you wanted me to flush and help out in that scenario.
2 goals in 57 seconds for Syracuse, and just try. You can't score a 6-goal goal. You're gonna have to get 1 at a time.
You gotta give a lot of credit to offensive coordinator Sean Kerwin. Okay, how many times today have we talked about guys winning matchups? He's putting the guys in favorable matchup spots, whether it's Schutz or whether it's Xander Dixon. Sean Kerwin typically
at 6'2", 230. That's in his wheelhouse.
Yes, and Quinn, to your point, you are creating an offense when you're sliding to a player, right, who is not beat. And you're sliding from a guy who's money in the bank.
Who's the big punches like that?
You train in your backyard with either a time recruit. Everyone thought he might be the next version of a Kevin Rice quarterback. If you talk to coaches, In practice, he's been really, really good. They're waiting for him to pop in terms of box to start that dodge. You want it off a ball movement where he's actually catching it and running in stride to attack a defender, because it's really hard to match feet with Curry because of his speed. You watch guys like Schutz like to play the body. He's the opposite. He's a space dodger.
12 of 17 draws. I'll get my math right eventually. 12 of 17 draws, so really taking control at the face-off dot. And just as I say that, violation right off the opening whistle.
With both hands, to me, at an elite level, Connor Schellenberger and Tucker Dordevic. Dordevic's a righty. You saw him spraying that with the left hand.
The defender just slipped. He lost his traction on his approach out to Cook. Cook said, hey, you know, you're going to give me this kind of range, I'm going to rip one.
4 straight goals for the Orange. Now they trail by 4.
He's going to cut. Before he actually did, that ball was in movement.
Big battle in the middle of the field here for the loose ball. Syracuse wanted a hold. I think they're going to get it. They will. And they'll get possession.
Sprayed. He had 3 goals against Maryland a week ago. He is the best, probably, outside shooter on this Syracuse team. He's been banged up. He had a lower body injury. Monster recruit. When you think about Luke, the first 3 quarters, Virginia didn't have the gas to cut that run. But this is a Virginia team that's had incredible success in May, winning the last 2 national championships. But Syracuse is the team that's been able to figure them out consistently. And I'm looking at this matchup today. 2 things I think will define the rest of this game. The two-handedness of Syracuse. After Owen Hiltz was injured, he was a predominantly lefty finisher and a great passer on the high left wing. Every single guy on this team right now is two-handed. They're hard to scout in terms of their offensive tendencies. And the other thing is, can they get the ball out when they stop Virginia?
To know the strong hand of all the players you're guarding.
2 goals in 30 seconds for the Cavaliers to extend that lead back to 5.
Karkin, that's a scenario as a goalie where I always try to help out the, especially,
and now he's starting as a freshman as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, he was a verbal to Marquette. I met Noah Chismore. I tutored his
guys like Connor Schellenberger. He's just a lacrosse player, 24 in white.
3 and 3 for Schellenberger. Lasalla, like that running back. Oh, and he scores!
Oh, he got crushed.
And the flag comes out, and now we're getting some pushing and shoving right around Lasalla, who, be careful, he's still on his knees.
He was vulnerable after taking this shot, Cotter, and he took one to the head and neck area.
He's as tough as they come. A battler. This is a guy coming into this game knew that the one player that had his number a season ago was Jacob Fopp from Syracuse. That has not been the case today. And a good reason why Virginia has an 8-goal game lead is because of Petey Lasalla.
And now we get another flag in midfield as our official Peter Buchanan was going to come and make the call.
11, you're coming too. Let's go. Hey, 40, do me a favor. Come back over. Yes, sir. Thank you. We have a dead ball foul on each team. Orange, 48, cross check, 1 minute. White, number 11, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, so 1 minute full time. All will be full time. All will be full time. It's going to be orange ball. Orange ball. Orange ball. Orange ball.
So Syracuse gets possession after the goal from Lasalla. They dump Lasalla, so a 1 minute penalty against Syracuse, and then Kate Sawstead said something.
There's the hit. A clear foul, and it could have been more than 1 minute, honestly. This is a player's falling and he's vulnerable, and watch, that's in the flow of action. It just ends up being
I don't think
high.
there was malicious
I don't think, no,
intent
I agree with you, Paul. But a lot of coaching lessons going on. As the player's in the box, the other one chirps something at him.
And you ask, why does Syracuse have the ball after Lasalla was injured? It's because Sawstead, on a dead ball foul, got the penalty. He was the last player to get the penalty.
There's a lot going on in that.
There's a lot.
Look at Coach Petro
Syracuse
going
has
after
the ball.
Sam.
Geography was a little bit of an issue earlier in the
be a hard
broadcast.
New York.
Geography is one of my strong suits, by the way.
small
Really?
town.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Lasala's had a strong suit winning draws today, and he got robbed by Gavin there. Almost had his second goal in a row.
Dordovic kind of being positionless, right? Connor Schellenberger and Matt Moore. That same kind of breath, right? When you think about Matt Moore and his career, what you were saying about Moore and Schellenberger, I think it takes an unselfish superstar at a younger age like a Connor Schellenberger to play the way he plays, to not disrupt the offense. Because if Connor Schellenberger was this fan,
I know him as a change of direction feeder type player. I didn't know he had the pop in his stick from mid to outside range.
this is a big moment for Griffin Cook.
So excited,
running all over the place,
running around like a moron.
Yeah,
okay?
the crowd was amazing.
And I remember at halftime. But you know, the thing about Gary and David, they